I'm not retracting my view on...
Good for you.
And I know your wife's not going to speak to me anymore, so...
You let me down when you wouldn't say the N-word to the camera, but you've sort of reclaimed a bit of it now by sticking up to my wife.
Sticking up.
Yeah, 4'7", yeah, wow, yeah. I'm glad you've stuck up for her.
I was called an absolute fucking wanker. Can I say that on YouTube?
And that was just my wife, because she saw that episode, and my wife went, "Yeah, he's a fucking wanker."
I was called an absolute fucking wanker, not by your wife. But in fact, I didn't write his name down, but it was one of our... And that's because I made a throwaway comment. I can't even remember making the comment. But what I said was, those arseholes working from home.
Yes.
And I was talking about the fact the city's empty now on Friday in London. And the reason being, because of the arseholes working from home. And what I'd like to do is not apologise to our listeners.
Good.
Because my opinion is, I'm right. I don't
look into the camera and tell him you're not apologising.
I'm not apologising, dear listeners, for saying that arseholes working from home, because I do not agree with working from home, Nick. I do not agree with working from home. I think it's one of the worst things that's happened to us in the last 10 years. It gathered a massive momentum during COVID, and now seems here to stay. And my views chime with a lot of other people, that Elon Musk in particular, that I think it's immoral when people work from home, when everybody else has to go in, work in the factory. It's an insult to people who work with their hands or work on shop floors or whatever and have to work. And I think that people working from home should be restricted to an absolute minimum, if any at all. And I think the productivity, the stats back me up, productivity has dropped massively in the UK, especially in London, since working from home has come into place, basically. So that's kind of my position on this one.
There's many reasons why working from home is the wrong scenario that we're taking on board now. The first one is it makes people lazier. People will argue, no, it doesn't, I get more work done, blah, blah, blah. No, you're just fooling yourself, because it doesn't. I know lots of people who work from home, and when you have a couple of drinks down and they tell you what they do during the day, they wash the pots, they take the dog for a walk, they do this, they do that, and fit it all in with working from home. The second point is, it's extremely unfair on younger people, because younger people learn their job by working in an office and learning from people in that office, because a lot of the work you do is not taught, it's picked up by being around people who are already doing it.
Yeah. So
we're hamstringing the next generation, because they're not sat next to 3-4 people who've been doing a job for 30 years and the wealth of knowledge, because now they're working from home. It also stops people sharing information. So there's many times I've sat in an office when I work for the council, for instance, where I've got this problem, and somebody will say, have you tried this, this and this? And you'd go, no, I'd never thought of those things, thank you.
Yeah.
And we miss that now. So we've got people now in isolation, sat at home. It's not good for their mental health.
Agreed.
They speak to nobody else. But because it's convenient, they think it's good for them. But it's destroying them slowly. And it's damaging businesses. But most of all, it's damaging our public sector. They're all working from home.
Yes.
There's a story online in the papers today. I think it was the Mail. There was a Zoom call by a district nurse with someone who then collapsed, and she sent him a Teams message to see if he was okay, and he died.
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not.
No, but that's
the point.
So now we've got nurses working from home.
Yeah. So in fact, if you'd been in front of him, with him at the point of and he'd collapsed, you could have administered first aid.
Gatwick Airport got closed down a couple of weeks ago because the tech guy was working from home and had the wrong passwords to access the system.
Jeez.
And Gatwick Airport closed down for like 12 hours.
Wow. What
tens of thousands of people destroyed because he was working from home.
Wow. And apparently it's getting worse since the government have taken over the civil service now. even more now working from home since this new government's come into power. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I am, but the unions are fighting for it. The unions are now fighting to make working from home a legal requirement,
Right.
but also working from home from a different country a legal requirement. Because what most people don't know is we've got tens of thousands of civil servants working from home in Nigeria, Pakistan and India. They just went home and kept their job.
Wow.
And are living at a fraction of the price in Nigeria on first world wages, living like kings.
That's scandalous.
Yes.
That's what I mean. It's just the whole thing is just, I think, quite obscene. It's interesting, one of our moles, I've been talking to him about this. I know we were having an exchange of WhatsApp, and he said, apologies for the delay in responding, but my sister's just rung me. She's just quit her job. Now, he was telling me about his sister. She works from home all the time. She refuses to go into the office. And as a result of that, she hasn't been promoted. She's been looked over for promotion. She spends all the time embittered about...
Shock horror.
Yeah, she's embittered about the fact other people are being promoted. She feels frustrated, but she won't go into the office. And now she's just handed a notice in because she's so frustrated with her role. She cannot see the connection between the fact she's spending all the time at home and the fact that she isn't progressing in her career. Well,
she actually has a point, because I feel sorry for her, because I don't even work for her company and they've never promoted me. So I don't understand what this company is doing. If they can't promote someone who works for them and doesn't turn up at the office, and can't promote someone who doesn't even work for them, what sort of company is this?
So research shows that productivity has declined in certain sectors as a result from working from home. The 2.6% drop in the UK public sector productivity, which is because more and more people work at.
And it was low anyway.
1% decrease in output per employee attributed to shifting work attitudes. Contributing factors, which you mentioned here, reduced skill development opportunities for young professionals and less effective communication in collaborative industries.
That's what I just said, yeah.
That's what you just said. Additionally, remote work habits such as television watching during work hours reported by over 80% of hybrid workers averaging 2 hours daily TV watching. So 80% of people who work from home are watching TV for 2 hours in that day.
There's a warning for these people, and it's this. If you can, let's say they're correct. Let's say working from home is just as productive. Let's say that's a given.
Yeah.
If that's a given, why do they need to employ you in the first world?
Correct.
Employ you in Japan, not Japan, employ you in India, employ you in Romania, employ you somewhere else. Fraction of the wage, and you've already convinced us it has no detrimental effect on productivity. These people are slowly making themselves redundant if they don't get a grip.
There has been a shift in quite a lot of major corporations back to forcing people to go back into the office, which is a positive. The final bit, which I think is hilarious, apparently 10% of remote employees take naps during the day, normally around 2 p.m. So 1 in 10 of remote workers, home workers, are taking naps.
Well, of course they do. Lazy motherfuckers always need a nap.
So whilst I've been absolutely hauled over the coals and castigated for my...
And don't forget, I work from home.
Yes.
But I work for myself.
You work for yourself. That's
so I never stop.
You haven't got an office.
No.
Have you? So I'm not retracting my view on...
Good for you.
And I know your wife's not going to speak to me anymore. So
you let me down when you wouldn't say the N word to the camera, but you've sort of reclaimed a bit of it now by sticking up to my wife.
Sticking up.
Yeah. 4'7". Yeah. I'm glad you stuck up for her.